but it was also in our Leave voting seats, our Labour Leave voting seats, that Brexit was instrumental in losing Don Valley and elsewhere. And you only have to look at that. And anyone who says it wasn't, well, they're in denial.
And we'll move on to Jeremy Corbyn in a minute, but I just want to focus on some of the things you're saying about Brexit and those Leave areas, because, of course, it wasn't just Don Valley. Great Grimsby, Labour since 1945, went Conservative. Wakefield, Labour since 1932. Blythe Valley, which has never been anything other than Labour. These real former heartlands voting for the Conservative Party. Do you feel that some of your colleagues really understand the concerns of some of those former Labour voters in your areas? Or do you think that perhaps there's almost the views of some of these working class communities are almost looked at with a bit of distaste?
Yes. We didn't heed the warning signs in 2017 when we lost places like Mansfield, who's the majority for the Tory candidate there has increased enormously. We ignored it, but we also ignored it back in 2010 and 2015. This has been brewing for some time, and I think in many respects our party, the balance in terms of the voices that are heard has gone too much towards the metropolitan cities and university towns and away from these core areas, and it breaks my heart
you seem
to
quite
see
emotional.
what's happened.
You seem quite emotional.
I am emotional about it. I'm emotional. I'm trying to stem my anger, Sophie, in all of this. But I am emotional because I do believe that in the pursuit of Remain, a number of people who have been ardent Remainers in our party, on our front bench, people like Keir Starmer, people like Emily Thornberry, but many others, Hilary Benn, Yvette Cooper, they have contributed to sacrificing 59 seats. I think I said 40 we would lose if we pursued this strategy. 59 seats. But don't worry, we've got Putney and we've got Canterbury. With all due respect to the Labour MPs for those constituencies, I don't believe that was worth it.
You name-check Sir Keir Starmer and Emily Thornberry there, two people who are expected to run for the leadership of the party. What do you think would happen if either of those two people or similar Remain supporting people from metropolitan seats, if someone of that background became the next leader of the Labour Party?
I don't believe anybody who have been the architects of our European policy in the last few years, I think is credible to be leader. I don't think they can win back these seats. And we may not, I'm afraid to say, you know, we shouldn't take it for granted that a change of leader is going to win us in 5 years' time, if that's when the election is called. But I don't believe there's any credibility for these people. You know, Keir Starmer led us to a policy that did not listen to Labour Leave voices who urged caution. He led us down the path of a second referendum, and I'm afraid Emily Thornberry did as well. She said to one of my colleagues, I'm glad my constituents aren't as stupid as yours. I'm sorry, it's not acceptable. And therefore we're going to have to really look at what might make a candidate for leader who can at least steer us to a better place over the next few years. But we shouldn't for 1 minute think that a change of leader is going to create an election victory for us. It's about Brexit, but it is wider than that. The policy platform that we had was offering everything to everybody, and whilst many of those policies were popular, there was an underlying scepticism amongst my voters about whether actually Labour could deliver, and I think that was felt through other parts of the country as well.